Do you know, I love choral music,
Yeah,
Mama.
yeah.
Yeah, when I was a kid, I used to gather all my friends on campus and put them together, and then I'd be the choir master, you know, teaching them songs of my own
No,
composition.
pretend to be teaching them.
Yes, yes. Some of my greatest hits like Akernaba and
Can you
several
give us a
others.
line? It's a
No,
holiday, so, you know.
no.
Pretend to be conducting me.
Oh, I used to sing soprano. So
Really?
yes, yes. Akernaba, Akernaba. Anyway, we'll continue later.
All right, let's do the newspapers. We have some of your messages as well, so we'll be sharing messages and then we'll be doing the newspapers as well. Emmanuel from Takrady is watching the show this morning. Emmanuel, good morning to you. Enjoy the holiday. Here's another one that says, I pray the call to decriminalize petty offences works out. It's quite unfortunate the judicial system isn't paying much attention to this reform. God help us. That's a reaction from our AM News. Michael Edu Aye sends this message. Michael, happy holiday to you. I hope that you enjoyed this Friday. This one says, well, thank you for the compliment. Says, good morning and Baraka the Sanla. And may I know the... Okay, I'm not sure I get this exact word. So Regina in Navrongo, please come again with the message. We'll read more of your messages in a bit, but let's do the newspapers. And Kojo will start with the Daily Graphic.
I will indeed, and here's the banner headline: brouhaha over Ministry of Communications directive, mobile operators now on platform, implementation process to ensure revenue assurance. So I guess this is in some way closure. I'll tell you a bit more about that story in a moment. Also, twin baby missing after delivery. A very disturbing story here about what her father says he went through at Ridge Hospital. Forbes honors 2 Ghanaian technology entrepreneurs. Well done to them. And Shraj to reconstruct old Parliament House. On the back page, 2018 World Cup. Simple, sweet opening. I don't think Saudi Arabia considered that opening sweet. Russia start in whirlwind fashion. Yes, indeed. And Salah fit to face Uruguay. Oh, that's wonderful news for Egypt. Salah was badly injured.
But we heard he hasn't quite recovered from that Champions League final. Yeah.
Well, it might take some time for all Liverpool players and fans to recover from that unfortunate scoreline. But let me tell you a little bit more about what's happening with the mobile operators and this revenue assurance situation. So all the mobile network operators have now complied with the directive by the Ministry of Communication to have their various data centers connected to the revenue monitoring common platform. Now, the compliance paves the way for the ministry, NCA, and the Ghana Revenue Authority and their contractors to begin the implementation of the process to ensure revenue assurance from the players in the telecom industry. Now, you recall there was some concern over the matter of security and privacy, thinking that where these nodes would be connected would give the contractors, in this case Kelny GVG, the capability to listen in on our calls, read our messages, know where we are, and so forth. So here is what the story says the solution is. They say that a filtering server and mirroring installation have been included to ensure that only the signaling information needed for the purposes of traffic monitoring will be received by the NCA and the GRA. No other information, not voice, SMS, video, or data, will be received by Kelny GVG servers.
Interesting. Interesting, but we know that there are 2 individuals who are in court over this matter. But Imani is also requesting for some document from the ministry, which I think the last time I heard anything from Imani, it was that they were tracking those documents from the ministry. So we still wait to see. And this was not initially part of the contract. So it means that the noise was worth it after all, if this system was included later on.
More importantly, we need to see the contract to see whether this new provision is written in there, if there's been an addendum or something, to ensure that this is in writing. You know, whichever new government or whatever comes along, if they're continuing this arrangement, we ought to remain safe. But I'm curious. So what they're saying is they put a server between what Kelny GVG will be receiving and what the telcos have, okay? So that Kelny GVG doesn't receive the data that would breach our confidentiality and privacy rights. So that server is run by who? The telcos? So
I guess it's owned by Kelny GVG. I honestly don't understand all the technicalities.
And I'm
I
curious.
don't understand what
I just
that
wonder
means.
if they've accepted such an arrangement where there's now a buffer between what Kelny is receiving and what the telcos. Why didn't they just plug it where the telcos said they should plug it in the first place? You know. But anyway, we also have to ask a few questions about the money they've been paid so far. What were they paid for? And you know, are we really getting value for money? Almost $1.5 million every month. So Imani's questions, let's hope we get answers to them. Shall I tell you about these twin babies missing after delivery?
Yeah, please do. But there was a reaction on News Nights yesterday on radio where the hospital director spoke, reacted to that story. So there's another angle to the story, not just what we've heard, either on radio, on television, or read on Facebook.
Yes. This is really the father's experience that he's narrating. He says that the story says that the father of the twins who were delivered at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital on May 10 is asking the hospital authorities to produce the body of one of the babies who the hospital says is dead. So I suppose just that alone is a fair question, isn't it, from a parent?
Yeah, so if I listened to the director who said, so the baby twins, one had died but the other survived, and they didn't claim the body for about a month, and they've got some protocols to follow, some procedures to follow to dispose of bodies, not just of that particular twin, but if you don't claim a body within a specified time and after some announcement, if you don't respond to that call, then
the body will be disposed of.
they have procedures. So he says that's all well documented. I don't know. I think that if the father goes through the proper procedure, then they can get all what is available. Then we all can know who is telling the truth and what happened to the body.
Indeed. It's not a great experience for any parent, is it? Let's hope it's
My
resolved.
worry really is how we react to these stories. So this has been out there for what? How many days? And then, because the response has not even gone far. So one-sided story just runs through everywhere for a really long time before we get a reaction from the facility. And I think that state institutions particularly should be more responsive. They should be more proactive. You know, don't wait for the story to go everywhere. It makes it look like you're guilty already.
But actually, let's be fair. In fact, you're right when you say that the institution needs to be more proactive. Not just more proactive, but sometimes they simply need to make the right choices. When a journalist comes to you and says, "We've heard this story, what's your response?" Please respond. You know, because obviously we here at Multimedia would not put the story out without checking with the hospital first. And it's only in an absence of a response that the one-sided story went out. I mean, even the Daily Graphic.
Because it's been everywhere and they haven't responded.
Look,
I mean, they made the story run for like before a response comes.
Today's Daily Graphic. And here's what the last paragraph says. It says, hospital's response. When contacted, the medical director of the Greater Accra Regional Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Srofenyo, have I said that right? Srofenyo, thank you, said his outfit was putting together a report for submission to the Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Anthony Siansare, for consideration and action. All right?
Times have changed. All these bureaucratic, you know, like you have to take this to this before. You can do that in no time. You can still follow protocol and still respond to things quicker than we get them.
And you know, when PROs are in the lecture theatre getting trained, they are told that their number one job is to protect the reputation of the institution that they speak for. Okay, so sometimes you need to do what is best for your institution's reputation.
But how often do you even hear PROs speak?
Yeah, good question, anyway.
Sometimes they're not allowed at all.
But that's the point. If I'm a PRO and my job is to protect my institution, I will do that before I think of any bureaucratic, you know, satisfying anybody's bureaucratic, requirements. But anyway, the national drive towards socio-economic development through technological advancement has received a major boost from Forbes Africa, which has recognized the sterling work of 2 Ghanaians in the technology category of its 2018 30 Under 30 honors. Great gentlemen here, Kofi Jemfi and Ni Osai Dade, 24-year-olds, and they are the co-founders of CYST, among Africa's top 30 young technology entrepreneurs under 30 years. Very well done to these two fine young gentlemen. And oh, sports on the back page, of course, it's all about the World Cup.
Yeah, so
we'll hear more.
Selwyn will be here to give us. Yeah. Yes. So let's follow that up with the Ghanaian Times newspaper, front page of the paper. Don't ride motors recklessly during Eid. That's a call by the police, but this is it. I'm sure if I said today that, send me pictures of all reckless motor riders today, I'll get loads of them, and tomorrow we can do that for like 3 hours. Police will not act. They will just issue notice. What does that mean if you don't punish those who go against the notice that you've given? And we will have people just doing it again today. Trust me. Yeah. It will happen. But fake major grabbed. The man is about 40 years, and he's been bold to say that he's a major, to even put the uniform on. And the story says he tried to get somebody recruited into the prison service. And his name, the man who is alleged to be a fake major, who is now with the police, the Bunahaf Regional Police. His name is Jerry Fifi Medici, who claimed to be a soldier at the Sunyai military barracks. He's reported to have attempted to assist one Solomon Tete to be recruited into the Ghana prison service recently in Sunyai. So the PRO of the police in Sunyai confirmed the story to the Ghanaian Times. They said Medici, dressed in a military police uniform and stationed at the Sunyai military barracks, approached officers of the prison service to assist his clients to be recruited into the service. But the conduct of the suspect raised suspicion, and officers of the prison service inquired from the commanding officer of the Sunyai military barracks his identity, only to find out that he was a fake soldier. So Chief Inspector Opong said the suspect was arrested and handed over to the police, and when interrogated, the suspect confessed he was not a military person. Let's look at him again on the front page of the paper with his pose right there. The PRO said when the police searched the suspect's lodging place at a guest house at Techiman, a military uniform with the rank of a major and the name Nana Kofi Hota, a military barrettes, 2 caps, a pistol, some T-shirts, and other accoutrements were found.
How do they get their hands on this sort of stuff? You know, the gear and the weapons and the outfits and all of that. How do they lay their hands on these things? I wonder.
Question.
But you know, it's psychology, and all good con men know it.
Yeah.
That if you're wearing the right uniform, people will do whatever you ask them to do. You know, I watched a documentary once. There's a guy in England who ran this experiment. He walked into a restaurant wearing a white lab coat and just told everybody that there was a biohazard. So everyone needed to leave, not take their coats or their bags, but simply walk out of the restaurant. And they all did. Left their coats, their bags, and he was walking around opening the bags and just showing to the camera how easy it would be to rob these people, simply because he was wearing a white lab coat.
But can you blame us, because those positions are supposed to be one of trust? Like we're supposed, otherwise if we question everything, then we will put our lives in danger.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But again, how did he get all of that stuff? How do people get, you know, all of this stuff? Perhaps he's related.
As for the military, what I know about the military is if you step on their toes, they are going to...
Is he in the hands of the military or the police?
Oh,
right now?
but once you are operating, carrying yourself as a military officer, I'm sure they can deal with you.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
You have to. He says he's at the barracks, right? Now they will grab him to the barracks proper.
Indeed. Now, while Ramadan comes to an end, his fasting begins.
They will let him experience the barracks life. There are still more headlines on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, so let's run through the rest of the headlines. Court declines to hear bail application for Dr. Obemfo, and then suspend teacher licensing exams, according to the teacher unions. That's a demand that they are making.
Yes, and more on Dr. Obemfo later when we bring you that exclusive interview that I had with one of his former patients. She had surgery last year, and she swears by him. Listen to what she has to say later. But why don't I take you through the daily guide very quickly. Headlines include this: I'm not cheated. Oyelitha hits back at husband. Also, I'll tell you about how two houseboys killed a woman, allegedly, a 92-year-old woman, with the help of the police, with the help of armed robbers. The police have mounted a manhunt for them, and Alima Mahama honored in the USA. Right, let's tell you a little bit more about the Letha story. Former Minister for Gender, Children and Social Protection under the erstwhile Mahama-led National Democratic Congress NDC administration, Nana Oye Letha, has spoken for the first time since news about a purported petition for divorce filed by her husband, Tony Letha, hit the media. Now, she has flatly denied the allegations leveled against her by the husband in the petition filed at the High Court in the Divorce and Matrimonial Division here in Accra. Now, the former minister said she would be vindicated in the end of the case. Let me tell you a little bit about what she says. She says, in the past 24 hours, I have been overwhelmed by calls from friends and family expressing concern about the divorce petition filed by my husband. I would like to assure everyone that by the grace of God, I am fine. Thank you for your prayers, support, and show of love. She continues, it's unfortunate that a private family matter should now become a subject of public discussion. Everyone who knows me and everything I stand for will know that the unfortunate allegations against me cannot be true. It goes on. Obviously, this is going to turn into a fight for the public's support for one party or the other, no doubt. But for me, I'm more interested in the larger conversation, not the personal details of this particular couple, but the larger conversation about divorce, and some of the difficulties that come with marriage, and whether divorce is in some cases the only solution.
You said this yesterday. I guess I failed to ask a follow-up.
Yes.
When you say the larger conversation, what exactly do you mean?
The conversation about divorce.
What about divorce?
Well, at the moment, half of marriages are ending in divorce. It raises a big question about the value that the human race is placing on the institution of marriage in the first place. And of course, we also have to ask ourselves whether divorce is a sign of failure, or in some cases, the only solution to a problem that a couple may be facing. These are some of the things that I think, this story can give us the opportunity to discuss publicly without going into the personal details of this particular couple. But of course, I still hold a different opinion.
I feel that, it's natural that two people may decide at any point in time. And if you look at where we are, like the era that we're in, it's just common for two people to say they are in love today and say they are out of love tomorrow and decide to go their separate ways.
Yes. It's just that society obviously places a lot of pressure on people to maintain an institution that for some reason makes everybody else happy, not just those who are in it. Exactly. So people keep trying to force the issue, and when you suggest that your marriage is over, people make you feel like you failed.
Exactly. There are people who go, who are separated, but they still don't even want anybody to know that they are separated.
Indeed.
Because they worry about what people would say and think of
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
Absolutely. They don't make
So, okay, so maybe I think I agree with you that there are other conversations, not putting these two out there, but I also do agree that they are out there and people are interested in this matter because of who they are.
That is true.
They are in the public eye.
That is true.
Some people would say everything about them is an issue to all of us.
Yeah.
Like everybody's interested in knowing what's happening.
I wonder though, well, of course it's not clear from the petition or from the statements that were issued by both parties. It's not clear whether one of these parties is contesting the divorce. Obviously, Tony Letha is applying for it, but I don't know whether Nanoye Letha is contesting it. We'll see.
It's the conspiracy theories, people come up with all sorts of things.
Yes,
some people have said, for instance, that, okay, so they could have done this on the quiet, everybody go your way, but question is, why do people end up in the courts? It's because they do not agree
on something.
Right.
Right.
And so some people have said it could be properties, because what else could, get you. Usually when two parties fight is over. Yeah. You want to leave me. I haven't said you should leave. You can leave. But
leave me the house.
Chimpe, you know.
Yes, although
like
interestingly, I mean, I've glanced through the petition. I haven't read it in much detail. I didn't see any sort of cataloguing of property or any claim being made to one property over the other, or, you know, I didn't see any of that.
Okay.
Perhaps,
I have read. I didn't see, when you say claim, no, I haven't. But catalog, yes.
Yes.
In very, I mean, that's why I really don't want to talk about it. So let's move on and talk about something else.
Okay. Let's talk about this rather scary story. I mean, this is the kind of thing that actually does keep me awake at night. Houseboys kill woman, 92 years. Police mount manhunt. Now, the police have launched a manhunt for two houseboys who allegedly connived with some armed robbers to kill their 92-year-old employer at the Teshi Estates in Accra. The two men, Daniel Mensah, who is 39 years old, 39-year-old houseboy, and Emmanuel, who is believed to be 22 years old, left the house of the deceased after the robbery. Now, a warrant for their arrest has been issued by a court to assist the police in their investigations. The deceased, Ajwa Baby Anansi, is the owner of Munsberger Hotel at Teshi Estate. She was strangled to death by the armed men, according to the police. Local and foreign currency, jewelry, and other personal belongings were stolen by the armed robbers. Now, the nephew of the deceased, one Park Mafu, narrated the incident to the Daily Guide and said that the deceased was based in Germany but regularly travels to Ghana to manage her businesses. She lived in a house adjacent the hotel with the two houseboys, and on March 14 at about 1 a.m., someone named Janet, a receptionist, knocked on the door of Madame Anansi to take keys to open the door to one of the rooms for a client. While waiting for Madame Anansi to deliver the keys, two masked men who were wielding guns appeared at the scene and threatened to shoot her if she shouted. The man who requested the room also assisted the masked men to tie the hands of the receptionist. They subsequently pushed napkins into her mouth to prevent her from shouting. And then, of course, one of the armed men monitored the receptionist while the other two waited for Madame Anansi to open the door. And then, of course, the rest ensued. She was found strangled. And, you know, to think that the two people who employed to work for her, who you would expect to be her protection, are suspected to have participated in this. It makes you worry. You know, I've got parents who are retired, you know, live in Cape Coast, and of course they have help. And I'd like to think that they're safe. Yeah. You know, but
this sounds very familiar.
Like this,
there was a similar one that happened, I think it was at Ofanko some few years back. I remember that as well. It was somebody who had also traveled in, was living with a houseboy, and a similar thing happened. Yes.
So clearly an inside job. They knew that if they asked for a key, it would require for someone to call for the lady to come and open her door. And they did exactly that. The person who requested the key turns out to be an accomplice.
We hope that the police will be able to do a good job, and we will see people punished for this.
Indeed. Right, so the Secretary of State for the state of Arkansas has honored Hajia Alima Mahama. I can't find the story where it's supposed to be. Oh, here it is, here it is. State of Arkansas in the United States of America conferred a Goodwill Ambassador title on local government and rural development minister Hajia Alima Mahama, who's leading a government delegation to the U.S.
Okay. All right, let's do a few of your messages. We'll make a quick dash online and then we'll take sports. I thought Benedict would rest today, but he loves the job too much to stay away, so he's here. Messages. This one from Eric Mensel Clue says, Baraka the Sanla to Sakina Yusuf and family at Kaswa and Zim at Boko, Quality Medical Center and all staff. Is from Eric Mensa Oklu in Akachi. This one says, Happy Eid al-Fitr to all Muslims in Tamale and Ghana at large. Abdul Mumin Wunam from Tamale sending this message. This one says, I hope this holiday brings some level of respite to my co-workers at Komfuanoche SHS, especially my dear wife, Susanna, not forgetting my dear friend, Lamino. Abankwa. I share the same sentiment with Samuku Jetu on the matter of decriminalization of petty offenses for a simple reason that it would help decongest the courts. Is from Nana Abankwa. Thank you very much for all the messages that you're sending to us this morning. You can also send us regular text message. Here's one. Thank you very much. Somebody says some really nice things. Daddy Kane in Fijai, SHS in second D. I get your message. This one says,
the love is deep.
Am I late for the interview with Dr. Obinfo? I just woke up. Stephen Jimmy, Anan in Salt Pond. Is he late?
No, Stephen, you are just on time. It's coming up very, very soon. Stay with us.
And Kojo got a 360. Damn!
What?
I'm sure people are wondering what that 360 is.
Stay tuned and find out
in that
yes.
conversation.
My job is very dangerous, you know.
But that's magic. I mean, but you also show us pictures of before, like
yes.
the before pictures, and
yes.
I have seen it, and I think, Charlie, that's magic.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Yes, clearly some medical professionals know their way around the female form. But we'll be learning more. We'll be learning more when we play back that entire.
Okay. So quickly, let's do myjoyonline.com. Absentee MPs cost taxpayer. Guess how much? 1.4 million Ghana cedis in 2017. Who else will do this job? Is Odikro, and details myjoyonline.com.
Right. What else have we got? Photo of the week. The World Cup in Ghana is the National Science and Maths quiz, no
Hooray.
doubt. And St. Augustine's didn't make it to the final. It's a sore spot for me, please. I've mentioned it so you never have to. All right.
It still doesn't mean anything. All right. So Russia hammer Saudi Arabia in 5-0 World Cup opener. But some people say, listen, this is just a fluke. Like, you know, there's Egypt and Uruguay coming up. So yes. Who are they really?
You know, these two teams that played yesterday, they are the lowest ranked teams in the World Cup. You know, Russia was literally, they went in as the worst team. Saudi Arabia only one step above them. But what a show it turned out to be.
It was still a good opener.
Indeed.
A very memorable one.
Vladimir Putin certainly enjoyed it. You know, sitting there acting as if he was personally scoring the goals. Every time a goal went in, he was like shrugging his shoulders as if, you know.
We'll see if he will sit through
himself.
The game against Egypt and Uruguay.
We'll see about that. Right. And also on myjoyonline.com this morning.
Fred.
Anya cites health ministry in $55 million chop. No bed syndrome. Right then. So this is something that you really need to get the detail of. MyJoyOnline.com really outlines what Dr. Anya, the former CEO of Kolebu, says about part of the reason why we have this no beds syndrome ongoing.
My only worry though, Kojo, is why do we get people who are inside only speaking when they're out? That's my worry. But I also know the consequences of speaking when you're in there. The only problem is we've regularized this. So nobody would give you the real inside story when they're in there. They only come out to say it.
So I don't know if I'm being naive, okay? But I want to ask you this. If you are doing a job for any employer, including the government, and that job requires of you to do things you believe are wrong, why would you do them simply to keep a job that is making you do things you don't want to do anyway? Why wouldn't you speak up and leave if it comes to that?
It's for the stomach. There are a lot of people who are doing it for the stomach.
Anyway.
But the point is that I think that if you occupy, you know, the top position, if you have only one person speaking, then the system can work against you.
Yes.
But if we have about 5, I mean, they all could not be sidelined. You can't say you're firing all 5 or 6 heads of state institutions because they are revealing what other parties should be doing that they're not doing.
So critical mass is what we need, right?
Yeah, because people move from private, the whole idea, when you move from private to public, the reason ordinary citizens applaud, you know, the postings and we like it is because we feel that you're going to transform how you treat the private sector is how you're going to treat the public sector now that you're there. So if you're there and everything is same, then what's the difference? What kind of difference are you making?
And that is the expectation, that you would do something different.
Exactly.
You know, so you come along, you do the same thing, you're a failure. That's my opinion anyway. You know,
so we need more people to speak up.
Indeed.
We need more people to speak up.
Right, who wins Russia 2018? My Joy Online's Nathan and Edwin give predictions, and oh my word, these are two of my favorite writers. You know, Nathan Gaduga and Edwin.
Edwinology.
Indeed.
Check out his lab on myjoyonline.com.
Indeed.
And he's Edwin. You know, Edwin is with us on the National Science Maths Quiz. We're working on the project together. So all the stories on myjoyonline.com, produced by Edwin up here.
Yes.
And his writing's fantastic. Sometimes people have issues, but that's the whole idea, you know? And sometimes when he writes and says certain things about some people's schools, then they take him on. And I say, bring it on. It just means they're reading.
That's right. That's right. Go Edwin. And also on My Joy Online.
Whatever happened to Zika? You remember that virus? First reported in the Western Hemisphere in 2015, just as the West African Ebola virus epidemic was declining. Yeah.
Yes, well, whatever happened to Ebola?
Whatever happened? We would Google it.
Whatever happened to Ebola too? So,
but Ebola
outbreaks can
we
be
know
managed.
has surfaced again.
Yes, but it is being managed. This new resurgence is also under control. Let's hope it doesn't spread to any other countries. It's already taken far too many lives. But yes, I mean, if you react correctly, you can control any outbreak. And so I guess that's what happened to Zika.
Another layer to Kelni GVG architecture is another layer of incompetence. Franklin Kujo of Imani Africa, and we know his issues with this particular deal and what he's asking the communications ministry to give him in terms of documents. So,
yes, $89 million. And the NCA and GRA are the implementing authorities. They are not parties, you know, to the contract, but they are the ones footing the bill. I wonder whether they could have said no. I wonder if that was an option.
All right, so I guess we'll end the online review here. Just read, so lots of messages coming in now. Barakada Sanlat, so Khadija Osman of UHAS in Ho is from Pascal. This one says, oh, Bernard, thank you for the love. Bernard is sending me some really nice message here. This one says, Barakada Salah to all Muslims nationwide. Allah grants our heart desires. Salam alaikum is from Gaddafi. And this one says, my daughter, Christata Judy Sam, is enjoying your show with the choir this morning. Big ups from Inshiraba Sami at Takrady Race Course. Okay, thank you very much for watching. This one says, I want to wish a happy birthday to my lovely daughter, Bubune Fiagbe at Agotsima Patoy, is from Chester Team. All the names are really nice.
Yeah, Bubune has always been a favorite of mine, though. Pretty
yeah, my
name.
girlfriend.
Very pretty
you know?
name. No, I don't.
All right, happy Eid Mubarak to my wife Amina and all Ghanaians. May Almighty Allah bless us all. It's from Shani Review. So we'll come back and do more messages because it's the holiday edition. But we have to say hello to you, Benedict Akwesi Dankwa.
Hi, Mama.
I see you don't want to sleep.
Well, I'm doing this for you because you're in my pocket, so I always have to come.
Benedict, be careful I don't end up in your pocket because you say this every morning.
You are in my pocket. You are in my pocket. And I'm glad to say that you are in my pocket.
Hey, he's saying it again. Listen, somebody said there's a ban on Kwesi Nyantechi to watch the FIFA 2018 World Cup.
I'm not referring to Kwesi Nyantechi. I'm talking about you being in my pocket.
I know.
Please, which pocket? Point to it.
Mommy is in my back pocket.
Listen, what's up this morning?
Well, we are looking at the World Cup. We are reviewing the opening ceremony. Also, we'll look at the first game involving Russia and then Saudi Arabia, as well as matches to be played later today. There is Egypt in action. Also, we'll have Morocco. And the big one tonight is the Portugal and Spain game. So we will do analysis of these games and also watch highlights of yesterday's game involving Russia and then Saudi Arabia.
Okay, are we talking about the Spain manager who decided to make a show, Real Madrid And I don't know where that came from.
Yeah, yesterday he actually cried at a press conference. It was very emotional, and he mentioned that...
Was the press conference even necessary? We're playing World Cup.
Well, I mean, it was for Real Madrid to announce their new manager.
Oh, please,
yeah, it was for Real Madrid. And he said yesterday was the saddest day in his life when he lost his mother. He lost his mother some years ago, and yesterday as well.
You feel bad.
Okay, wait. He didn't lose his mother yesterday.
No, it wasn't yesterday. Yesterday
but
was
yesterday
like
marks the day he lost his mother.
Oh,
because
okay.
it was an emotional day for him. He prepared the team for a tournament, did very well with that team, and beaten 14 games. And when the tournament is about to begin, he gets sacked.
Maybe you feel bad.
No, not entirely. I mean, one side, yes. But he also breached some. I mean, how could you not say something like that to the people, the federation?
At least he should have told.
I mean, it was wrong.
Yeah, at least he should have told.
For them, and Real Madrid could have also just kept it and waited.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know the rush.
In the hurry.
I don't
Real Madrid is not playing in the World Cup.
Yeah.
It is Spain that is playing.
Yeah.
Well, but at least they have a capable hand in the team. That's Fernando Hierro. He's the Spanish coach, and he has noted that he will not change anything about the team, and that Lopetegui has already done so many in terms of building a team and the formation and everything they've done. So he's just coming in to complement everything he did.
We'll see how that reflects later.
They begin today.
Okay. So detailed sports coming up. Owen is on with you?
Yes, Selwyn.
Okay, Selwyn is on.